Recorded Books and One-Click Digital present Swept Away by Robyn Carr. Narrated by Thérèse Plummer. Chapter 1. When she walked into the Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, heads turned. Not just the men's, but the women's as well. Jennifer was used to this. She didn't come by her fabulous looks by accident. Trim, tan, blonde, leggy, buxom, with a face that could stop time, she drew the attention of everyone she passed. She went to the counter and recognized the agent, a woman she'd seen several times before. "Hi, Elaine. Jennifer Chaise, here to meet Mr. Noble for the Las Vegas flight." "He hasn't checked in yet, Miss Chaise, but you can board if you like." "Thank you, but I'll wait until he gets here." "Why don't we go ahead and load your luggage to save time?" she said. Jennifer gave a nod and a smile, glanced over her shoulder to the skycap who'd followed her with her bags, and then went to a leather sofa in the waiting room. From there, she could see the terminal entrance. As she waited for her gentleman friend, Nick, to arrive at the airport, Jennifer reminded herself that not all that long ago, she'd been a girl who couldn't afford a bus ticket. Now she was a woman waiting for a private jet. Who would have guessed? The private jet sent by the MGM Casino Resort would whisk them away to Las Vegas, where they would spend a few days. Nick was what was known as a whale, a high-stakes gambler. She assumed he lost as well as he won because at least 4 times a year the MGM would send their Gulfstream to pick him up. But, according to them, gamblers never lost. And despite the fact that he was married, Jennifer was the woman who accompanied him on these trips. Jennifer was something of a gambler herself, but she didn't wager money. She put herself on the line, betting that she could keep someone like Nick Noble so enchanted by her charms and beauty that he would be a generous suitor. It required quite a lot of skill and confidence. The skills she'd acquired over time, but the confidence always threatened to elude her. Sometimes she was required to fake it. All the people who ogled her were completely unaware that beneath the veneer of wealth and glamour beat the heart of an uncertain girl who had come from nothing. She reached over her knee to smooth her $2,000 eelskin boots over her shin. They were as soft as butter and were her favorite. There was a time years and years ago when she was 8 or 9 years old that her mother picked through a dumpster, where she'd seen a pair of discarded shoes just about the right size for Jennifer. That had been an especially bad patch for them. Maybe that was what had fostered her passionate love of footwear. These boots were sage-colored and perfect with the cream skirt and jacket she wore. The skirt was short with a strategic slit up the left side, and the jacket buttoned just under her breasts to emphasize her cleavage. If it were left up to her, she might choose a lower heel. But Nick, for some strange reason, preferred that she look as tall and long-legged as possible. She was a respectable 5'5", but any one of her collection of high heels so exaggerated her height that she appeared 5'10". The irony was that Nick was not tall. He was a short guy, maybe 5'7", and had a real thing for tall, thin blondes. No short man complex there. In fact, Nick probably thought he was 6'2". His ego was at least that big. A half-hour passed as she waited, and although people couldn't help but stare at her, she didn't fidget. The cabin attendant for their jet came into the terminal twice to speak to Elaine, ostensibly to see if all her passengers had finally arrived. By now the crew would be getting antsy. Nick would never tolerate tardiness in others, but he was rarely on time himself. He could be both aggressive and passive-aggressive, not always a winning combination. Jennifer pulled her long mane of golden hair over her shoulder and stroked it as if it were a pet. Nick loved her hair. So had a few gentlemen before him. She cared for it as if it were an only child. Elaine came out from behind the counter and approached her. "Miss Chaise, are you sure you don't want to go ahead and board?" the agent asked her. She smiled patiently at the young woman. "It won't get him here any faster, Elaine. I'll just wait for Mr. Noble." "I don't suppose you've heard from him?" "No." "Have you
Sample complete. Ready to continue?